Question, sure. Learning node crafting right now, trying to figure out how best to use shards. Reading online that you shouldn't make random nodes with them. That you should focus on boost nodes. This is true. Any blanket statement of you should always make boost nodes or you should always make Nodestones is both equally fucking stupid. It comes down to how much does your character need damage, right? If your character is in a situation where you have a big legion, you have link skills, you have money, the pressure on how much your matrix needs to perform goes down. As a result, you can go for a more inefficient early game approach and a more efficient overall approach, which would be crafting as many node stones as you can, random node stones. Because now the value per shard goes up, because the nodes will have more likely, the shards will have per shard more likely the value that it gives you any node that can help you, and it can also help you get skill nodes at a higher rate, which gives you even more value per shard. So let's say that you are a character. If I start a new character, if I start a Kali, and I want to max out my skills, I have 1,000 nodes available, for example, and I want to get as strong as possible. With that, I want to do certain bosses, and I have 9.5k Legion almost. I could throw them all into boost nodes, because if I'm just trying to do early game bosses. If I'm on a character that gets a lot of damage from skill nodes, I want to prioritize a skill node and then probably do boost nodes. If I'm going to level it as my main, and I'm not in any kind of rush to become a boss mule, for example, and I'm just trying to get long-term gains and get good efficiency out of all the nodes I get, then I'm going to craft as many random node stones as I can. Another factor is how many sets of boost nodes does a character need. If a character only needs 2 boost nodes, you should be crafting the boost nodes themselves, because the highest chance of what you open is going to be a random boost node that you don't need, and you're just going to spend 35 shards to get 10 shards back, and then to spend 35 shards again to get 10 shards back, and you're losing. But let's say I'm leveling up a Ho Young who needs 7 boost nodes or some dumb shit like that, right? 6 to 12 for I don't know, or 8 or something like that, right? Now every single node that I open is a node that I can level up. So it's not going to go in the exact boost node that I want to, right? So the damage is not going to go as quickly exactly where I want it to go. But overall, the total amount of nodes that I'm going to need to get my character built out is going to be way less than if I specifically feed in. Because also, some people really talk about you need to max your nodes as quickly as possible. When your nodes are maxed, now there are outs of that you when you open nodes that are not going to give you any value anymore. Now you have to extract them again if you max out your nodes early, right? All of these are factors that will determine what is likely better and what is likely not better. Is there like a math equation that someone has to throw in whether at any given time it's better to make node stones or to make boost nodes? Not really. Just too many fucking variables there, right? But again, anyone who says you should always make node stones, or someone who says you should always make boost nodes, both of those people I wouldn't believe. Like, there's nuance and there's variance and there's situations, right? So to bring it all back to to your question, thank you, by the way, Hamutsim. Appreciate that. Kyo, so what is your situation? What character are you playing? What's the goal of the character? How much funding does your character need, right? That's what you need to break down. And then based on that, exclamation mark progression, look at what level do you want your boost nodes generally, what level do you want your skill nodes generally, have that as your funding in terms of nodes on the character. And when you're funding a new character with nodes, start low, and then you can always add more later if the character is not strong enough or the character is struggling with burst or with DPM or whatever. Relatively new, 3.4k Legion, minimal funding, only 1 build, meaning a Kali, my main. Okay, I think Kali wants has one predominantly really important set of trinodes, but wants 2 sets of trinodes, if I'm not mistaken. So that means 4 total boost nodes. The other thing that would go into the factor in is like, what is the variance of boost nodes that she has? Like, how many skills are in there? So, I didn't save that picture. Like, for example, Hayato had like used to have 27 skills in the boost nodes, and they only needed one set of boost nodes, and all of their damage came from one skill node. So obviously, a Hayato should never make boost nodes with shards, because that's just pissing it, pissing it away, right? But example like Ho Young is completely on the other side. Every single skill node needs to be leveled eventually. They need 8 boost nodes. Every single node is a node that gives them direct value. You should make Nodestones there. Yeah. And most characters are going to be somewhere in the middle. You've got your perfect nodes. Yeah, so if it's your main, you have 4 boost nodes. I would probably say to craft Nodestones still. Unless you're struggling for damage. You're like really, really struggling, and all of your other stuff is already decently upgraded. Upgraded. Then I would probably focus on the Nodestones. But most of the time, people will get so much power creep that you can basically kill the monsters near your level pretty easily. And boost nodes is more about like killing bosses faster. Is mostly where that is. So if you're not starving for the damage and you can speed up the total process or do it more efficiently by making the Nodestones with the shards, I would do that for as long as, until you hit like a little bit of a wall, and then maybe start making the boost nodes a bit more. You prefer efficiency to rushing? Yeah, well then, there's your answer. All right. Hopefully that was enough like context and nuance in it that all made sense. I'm 260 with max nodes and 17 star, plus 21% stat, also 4 bossing mules. Hang on, 260, max nodes, and 17 star, 21%, yeah. 4 boss mules, going to lose damage, yeah, and 7k Legion. Should I only prio Legion now or go for 20 plus on Star Force? Whether you go for 20 plus on Star Force or not will depend on how much money you have and how many backups you have. So for Shining, I would definitely look towards spending my money on that. But for 4 bossing mules, you still have more scaling to do there in terms of getting more bossing mules in. But again, that would depend on how much time do you have during a week. Do you want to make more money? Do you want to commit more time to this game? Is there time where you're basically just trying to make money? Because then if you spend that time instead doing bossing on a character, your efficiency will go up there, right? So try to move in that direction. In general, the total balance between your entire account and everything you're doing, ! Progression talks about where do you want to spend your time in an efficient way to bring your account into a further into a better